This episode of Nerd Confessions is brought to you by Nerf.
No, it isn't.
Because I do not aim with my hand.
No.
He who aims with his hand has forgotten the face of his father. I aim with my eye.
I do not shoot with my hand. He who shoots with his hand has forgotten his papa. I didn't mean to do that.
This is so embarrassing.
I do not shoot with my hand. He who shoots with his hand has forgotten the face of his papa. I shoot with my mind.
Oh, God.
I do not kill with my gun. He who kills with his gun has forgotten the face of his father. I kill with my heart.
I do not confess with my mic. He who confesses with his mic has forgotten the face of his father. I confess with Nerd Confessions.
In this episode of Nerd Confessions, we're going to be talking about The Dark Tower, starring Idris Elba.
And Matthew McConaughey. Let's go.
And that one
Possibly
kid.
the next James Bond.
We're talking about Idris Elba, not Matthew McConaughey.
Nerd Confessions. Engage.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Oh, hell, you read me?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Tell me how many lights you see.
Oh! Lights!
This is a very good composition.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd Confessions, our safe haven where we discuss our thoughts and opinions on everything nerdy, geeky, techie, and whatever. It's been a week since our last confession, but before we jump right into it, we'd like to remind our listeners that you can follow us on various social media platforms, find previous episodes, and view bonus content on our website, nerdconfessions.net.
.net.
I'm Soheil with the moderator for this episode. I'm joined by William.
Hello.
Ellie. And the wonderful Tommy.
Yo, 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 yo.
This episode we'll be talking about the 5 most recent nerd news topics that are important to us and Stephen King's The Dark Tower. Stick around until the end of the episode to hear some of our listeners' confessions. If you want to send us a confession, you can email us at contact@nerdconfessions.net or send us a tweet, which Will is monitoring those tweets, so send them out.
Tweets.
Tweet. So for starters, let's talk about what each and every one of us has done this week. What have you been up to, Tommy?
Well, this week I got right back into Ark. Yep, I played a shitload of Ark, and I actually started playing the PvP version, and I actually kind of really like it, ironically. It sucks at the beginning, but once you're higher level, it's actually pretty fun.
PvP stands for penis versus penis?
Well, in a way, you could kind of, maybe. No. The technical word is player versus player, but when you're talking about big dick waving at each other, yeah, that's pretty much the
Try
same
to move
thing.
closer to the mic. Excuse me.
You're like,
Okay.
I wasn't winking at you, so it's not sexual.
I've also been watching Dragon Ball Super and Hero Academia. I've been watching Game of Thrones, which is, I'm hoping these guys are going to start one of these damn days. Also watching Rick and Morty Season 3. And I saw Dark Tower.
Awesome. I actually watched 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, so I'm not far. I'm really
Do you
far
like it
behind.
so far?
I like it. The first season's kind of slow, but
is.
season 2 is good. Then season 3 gets better, but then
It builds up.
my issue with not the show is just that, like, anytime you get attached to anything,
That's
it's
the whole
just
point.
annoying.
That's the
But
whole
it's
point.
okay. Moving on to Ellie. What'd you do?
nothing.
All right, moving on.
Don't lie. You played something.
I played Breath of the Wild.
I knew it.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Cook some meat.
She's like the only thing she does.
You just see my map where I've been. It's like almost like filled in.
Breath of the Wild for
She
Ellie
takes pleasure in that.
is like Ark for me. It's just like the thing we
discovering
play.
like the little corners.
But
of
how
the
many
mountain.
X's does that map have? Because an X indicates a death.
Not that many, William. Not that. I avoid the giant little creatures.
Giant little creatures?
Yeah, they're giant, but they're little.
That's a oxymoron.
Yeah. So.
Well, as long as you're still playing games. Right?
Oh, and then I started playing that one game.
What game?
Sonic Mania.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was about to say.
because we're recording this on Wednesday. It came out on Tuesday. But we'll talk about that more
oh.
next week.
Oh, okay, I can't talk about it.
Yeah, you
no more.
can. What do you think so far?
No, well,
okay, well, wait.
in depth next week.
And that, what first impression? You like it or
I
not?
can't say. It'll be discussed next week.
That's
Okay.
right.
I got this. And I watched that one movie too.
Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Lights
And then
out?
I also
What else?
that's it.
Oh,
That was it. Yeah, no wait. I watched that's not nerdy enough. Nah, no, I'm done.
oh, wait. No, say it.
What? What did I do?
She watched the Powerpuff Girls.
I got this alien. It's the
What
Neoform with the
about
toddler.
that Korean horror movie?
Oh.
Sorry, what?
Oh yeah, that one Korean movie. It was called I Saw the Devil.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Did you talk about it with your coworkers? Did you talk about it with your coworkers yet?
No,
Okay.
I was like at the beginning. I was like, I'm totally gonna ask them if they've seen
can
this,
you-
and then I was like, nope, I'm not gonna ask them.
Can I say something to you real quick?
Yeah.
We talked about it with a Korean person, and the Korean person thought it was a gangster movie.
I know. Why would you think it's a
He's like,
gangster
it's
movie?
more of a gangster movie than it is a horror movie. I'm like,
It's like
A gangster movie?
It has nothing to do with gangsters.
I mean, I could see
just
it. What
agree
if?
something to agree with him.
What
Like,
if that's
yeah,
what?
sure.
What if that's what gangsters do
maybe.
with the main villain person?
Maybe it's a translation.
Maybe we're
Because
reading
they're
it wrong.
criminals. I
Yeah,
guess.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I showed him the cover. It was what it was.
A gangster is the type of person that collects money from extortion and deals drugs and stuff.
Hey,
None of that happens in this movie.
Well, don't discriminate. Some of
Gangsters
them.
are like it's like family. It's a protection thing. But if you look into depth, all the criminals that connect.
I mean, as far as
What was that?
as far as their activities, that kind of activity does not happen in this
their
movie at all.
activities are,
it's not a
are
Western
normal
gangster,
stuff.
maybe. It's an Eastern gangster.
Their activities are normal, man. You know,
People killing each other
Playing
is
pool.
gangster style. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anywho,
rollerblading.
if you want to watch a weird Korean horror film, just watch I Saw the Devil.
So,
Why do you say
That's
that?
all I
I'm
did.
sure we'll watch that with you as well. Let's go to Will.
Well, I watched Sandy Wexler on Netflix, and it's not good at all.
Which one?
That's with Adam Sandler. It's one of the Adam Sandler movies where he's a movie producer, or not movie producer. He's a what do you call it? An agent for
Oh, the
talent,
one with the curly hair.
talent agent, and it was really bad. Don't watch it.
I haven't watched any of his movies.
It's really-
lately.
it's-
I
heard
feel
they're all-
bad. So
The
far.
last one was pretty good. It was actually okay. It was the one where he kills himself to regain his identity or something.
Is that why?
like
Oh, I was about to say, is that why
No.
it's good? 'Cause
He kills himself to get and takes somebody else's identity. That was actually okay. This one is bad. I also started Games of Thrones episode 1, which I made it pretty much to the ending. There's just a lot of butts and a lot of boobs and a lot of talk about
Get ready for it.
Peter Dinklage's having large dinklages. But
he has a baby's arm for a penis.
that's what he talks about. You don't actually see it, but he talks about it in the. He's
He's
like,
a tripod.
God has given me a gift.
It gets really good. You have to like keep. It's like Walking Dead. You gotta get through the first couple episodes.
I
first
mentioned
season.
the previous week. I know. I mentioned the previous
Okay.
week that I was starting Mass Effect Andromeda, and I'm actually to the part where it's actually getting addicting for me now. So now I'm playing it. Now I'm playing it to the point to where like I'm actually enjoying it because I'm building bases. I'm leveling up and actually getting progress because I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. And in the very beginning of the game, when you're on the hardest difficulty, it's a kind of a pain in the butt because it's really imbalanced in the beginning. It's been this way with all the Mass Effect games. But as you get more experience and you're actually building your character, as far as the abilities, it actually gets a lot easier to the point at the end. It's like you don't even feel like you're playing on an insane level. I also finished off House of Cards season 3.
Ooh, finally.
About time.
About time.
Need to catch up, sir.
It gets so good, man.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, of course I have.
Shut up, you haven't watched it. Okay, and that's all I did.
Okay. And Dark Tower, right?
Yeah, and Dark Tower with you guys.
So sorry.
Coolio. So let me go to what I did this
Wait.
week.
So what have you been up to this week?
Damn.
Hey, look.
It's the Neo.
Don't steal his shine.
It kind of looks like a beluga that had its head
I'm
cut
sorry.
off.
What?
I actually like the design of him. If the movie didn't have a xenomorph and it was just the neomorphs, I actually would have liked the movie a lot better because they disgraced the xenomorphs. But it's okay. What did you?
So
I'll shoot
that was weird. I'm gonna shoot it. Kills it. All right. So what I do this week, I actually watched Voltron season 3. I like the show. It's really good. Season 3 gets
I
really
forgot
good.
season 2 even came out. I guess I
Season
should
2
watch
has
it.
a good ending, and then season 3.
That reminds me. Did you ever watch Ajin season 2?
No, I didn't really like that.
Oh, I started.
I started,
watching it,
like,
but
first
then
episode, then it-
totally forgot about it.
Me too.
I forgot about it.
Voltron
watch
is
it.
actually pretty good. I like watching
I fuck
Voltron.
Voltron.
I'm playing Cold Waters on my PC. It's a submarine attack game from Cold War. It's really, really weird.
You love those military games, huh?
I love
Flying,
them.
submarines. You're just a weird old guy.
Cold War is actually really cool because you get to like be a submarine guy and shoot down ships. Can't get enough of the missiles because you just shoot missiles out of the water. It was like, and you just hit a ship. It's crazy.
It sounds like a cool game. We should play an RTS soon because you haven't played RTS
Okay.
with people's very
We
much.
can.
Like
We could play-
We could play a StarCraft
StarCraft
remastered
the game that you were talking about on the way up here. What was it called?
StarCraft remastered.
Company Heroes?
Company of Heroes. We could play
Yep.
that game.
I also played Sims 4 because
Woo!
I had
Sorry.
I had it on my Origin, and I went in
Sorry.
there and I was wanting to see
Origin.
what the difference was between Sims
What do you do in Sims?
2 and Sims 4. Basically,
You kill
it's
people.
like your second life. Basically,
You're building a house. You can actually build it like the outline. You can furnish it. You can get a job. You can get an education.
you're basically build. You're basically architect.
So basically, you can
You're
restart
God.
your life the way you want it. Basically,
But it's enjoyable. You probably like it.
how do you mean?
You
it's
probably like
enjoyable?
because you start the game playing as you start the game as a young adult, and you build your skills, and then your character starts making money by getting a job, and then you also can't just have like all the best things in the world in the beginning, unless you cheat. So you have to,
Motherload.
as you get better at the game, as you get more money, and your character becomes a better person at work. Like you start, there's different tracks.
Can you
in life.
invest and all this stuff?
No, there's nothing like that.
Oh, then fuck that game. That's
But
not
you're-
real.
But,
Oh
no.
my god, you're going crazy.
So what they have is like different tracks. There's like so many different job tracks. So you can go into like,
An aspiration.
I want to be an astronaut. So you can start as an astronaut. So it's like
Can I be a murderer?
you can be a
you can.
thief.
Oh, dude, Grand Theft Auto that shit.
You can also be a special agent.
You can be a murderer.
Yeah. And what happens is your person comes home and has like little games that happen on the way at work. So it's like,
The job is not part of the main game. The job is just a way of earning a revenue around to build your dream house. Basically, it's mainly about building.
Is
your
it
dream
like
house.
Civilization?
no.
It's mainly about building your dream house and leveling up your character and
Can I-
having interactions with other people. Sorry, Ellie, go ahead. You're the expert on Sims.
Yeah, what they said.
So,
so-
but it's also about like putting things together to make other things. So your character can get great at like,
So it's like Ark.
no. Why are you connecting it to
The-
art?
what's
You
really
build stuff.
What's really
Yeah,
cool?
but you don't really build it. You buy it from like a shop and you put it in your house. Your house is basically you're an architect. Think of it as an architect
So
level.
it's a shittier level of Ark.
Oh my god, you just play it and stop comparing it to shit.
So I was trying to explain something to you. So you get the cool thing about the game is like building your character and then building it so you get to the house, and then after that they can upgrade and they get older, they die too. So then if he dies but he has kids, you can play as the kids, and the kids die and you can play as the kids.
So I could start like
but
Lannisters.
there's ways to bring back people from the dead, and I've been doing that lately. It's really scary, really weird.
Well,
I
there's
haven't
something
tried
about
that.
this
Voodoo
new-
magic.
No, there's like
Oh,
a cake.
fucking cake.
Go ahead, Ellie.
Well, what? Sorry. Did I say?
You said something, and I couldn't catch it.
No.
I said I've been bringing people back from the dead, and you
Yeah,
said something.
on that like science place.
No, I just
Can you wear a
I make
suit
cake.
and live in a high rise?
My character is like really good at cooking,
Hello?
so I made a cake, and then people eat it and they come back to life.
Can
It's
you wear a
really freaking
suit
weird.
and have bodyguards and live in a high rise?
You can have a suit and have
Do you-
bodyguards.
do you have weapons?
And you can live in a high rise if you want to.
I want to be like a Lannister.
Because there's one place
modern day
called
Lannister.
City Life, and you can also play this different game called At Work and do your work stuff.
don't
But I don't want to talk about it anymore, so I'm moving on.
This is coming from the
So-
guy who washes dishes online.
You're talking about on Job Simulator? Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
I forgot. For myself, I also played Rick and Morty Virtual something. What is it called?
Reality.
Virtual.
Oh, yeah.
Virtual Rick-ality.
How was that?
It's very good.
You like it?
It's basically like you're playing an episode. You're a Morty clone and you're given tasks.
That's cool.
And like one of the coolest things is that the first thing that happens is you're brought to life, and Rick says, "Oh, it's a clone, Morty. It's a clone of you, Morty. I'm gonna have it do the laundry." And then he says, "Take this laundry, put it in the washer," and you put it there. I was like, "Okay, your job's done. So I guess I'm gonna kill you now. And he points a gun at you and kills you.
Oh, shit. What is my purpose?
And then
Pass the butter.
I'm not gonna spoil the rest. So it's really good. It's like basically playing an episode, and it's a lot of problem solving. I like it a lot. It's job simulator except more problem solving.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
It was on sale on Steam last week, so if you guys want to check it, I think it's still on sale. So check it out.
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Rick and Morty. I played Company Heroes 2, which is an RTS I really like. I like 1 more than I like 2, but 2 is the one I bought. So I like Company Heroes 2. It's basically World War II RTS. And then I also watched Rick and Morty's last episode. So that's all I've been up to.
Oh, you saw the last one?
Yes, I did, but I don't want to break it for anybody.
With the, what their names?
Can we go on the news topic?
I forgot the guy's name.
Doesn't matter.
It was like in the trailer. What was the names?
Let's get right into the news.
I kill with my heart.
All right, first news topic of the week is Chris Pratt continues to strengthen his ties to Universal by starting a new franchise with Ninja Viking. So it looks like we got a new franchise coming out, which is Ninja Viking. It's basically based off a comic book that Chris Pratt wants to be the main character. So it's going to hit theaters in June 28th, 2019. So that's a long ways away.
Yeah.
So a lot of you kids that are in high school will be able to drink. Ending high school, actually. So let's move it on. Next bit of news.
I kill with my heart.
If you want to play VR Mario Kart, which I think Tommy does,
I do.
Can jump in Shinjuku, Japan. I believe they're playing it. Shinjuku is in Japan. So Shinjuku in Japan, they're playing in the VR zone, which sounds really cool.
And it's on the Vive.
Yeah,
it looks really cool.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Engage 中文 Ross。我们今天
sorry, but that's in Chinese.
It's Japan.
I'll translate. Hello and welcome to
No,
the...
shut up. We're not even going to talk about this. We're just going to look at them playing real quick. So I'm trying to skip ahead here. There we go.
So it's on
That
a,
was so cool. Oh my God.
So it's basically on an actuator platform.
Yeah, it basically looks like a cart that you're inside. They have a steering wheel. You have little Vive trackers on your hands, and you're wearing the Vive headset. It's pretty cool. So it actually tracks where your hands are because you actually have to physically throw stuff, I think. So it looks really cool. I would love to try this game.
I would totally...
Feel like you're bonking people with hammers.
I don't understand. Nintendo was behind this as well.
I don't know. I think they might have just made like a mod.
It looks like a mod to
they're
me.
officially involved. But it looks really cool.
The reason I say that it's a mod is because I don't remember the things being like that.
But yeah, so it tracks your
weapons.
hands to physically grab items hanging from balloons and then throw them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It looks really cool.
I think I'd get motion sickness from it, but that's just me.
Because you wuss.
No, it's just because...
once the headset's on, it's nowhere near as jittery as it looks like in camera.
Okay, it looks really jittery.
you should know that from...
Remember Gran Turismo?
Look, Tommy, shut up.
Oh!
Okay, that's...
Oh! No, wait, keep playing. Wait a minute. No, you can't.
Oh my God.
No,
Okay,
play
so
it.
it just showed somebody doing a Kamehameha in VR.
Oh,
Calm
shit.
down.
No, push play. Push play.
Why is it so important to you?
Why? Hello? That is so...
Hey. Does that make you want to go to Japan or what?
Dude, oh, God.
This is in China.
No, this is in Japan.
Oh.
Is this? This
This is Chinese.
Shit.
This is China and Gadget. Chinese and Gadget.
No, I know, but it's in Shinjuku, Japan.
Oh.
No, it's not.
They're in Shinjuku, is Japan.
Oh, okay.
You don't know that.
All the words on the site on the walls were in Japanese. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We should go, Tommy.
Fine.
Japan, 2019 now.
2019.
Let's go.
I kill with my heart.
Crackdown 3, which you saw at the last E3 from Microsoft, has been delayed till 2018. So, if you remember, you had...
It's supposed to come out November 7th, 2017.
Yes, it was supposed to come out late 2017. It's being pushed till spring 2018, which is really pretty much like a 3/4 pushback. So you're not going to get the game at the holiday season. You'll get it during the spring break season.
I mean, at least they're delaying it to make it a better game, I guess, because it doesn't look like they're able to do anything. The whole thing when it was first announced is we're introducing cloud computing from our Microsoft servers that we invested so much money in, and we'll actually have tons of physics that your console would never be able to handle because it's on the cloud. But we haven't seen anything about that since they mentioned it. We've never seen anything physically happening in the game about that. But at least Terry Crews is involved now.
Yeah.
Because we had him part of the trailer, and he's actually supposedly in the game now to confirm that. So
yeah,
I'm kind of excited.
I mean, he's gaining a little bit of a push in the gaming community, so it's going to be interesting to see him in the game, actually. He has a really, specific voice, so we'll see what happens. It'll have a 4K gameplay, and let's see what happens.
I kill with my heart.
All right, No Man's Sky are actually being able to meet each other for the first time 1 year after the game launched. When you were promised this from the beginning, you ended up getting
they said you might be able to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they said it was going to have online play, and there was no online features, really.
Yeah, if you met somebody, it was impossible to meet somebody. You'd just be able to discover the same thing as somebody else.
Yes.
That's all.
So it made it really annoying. So right now, if you're playing it, players on Reddit said they actually ran into each other for the first time, which is pretty crazy. So crazy cool, but at the same time, this game is played out, I think.
Yeah, well, I'll say it. I said it when we talked about it a long time ago. I'll say it again. If they did an ARC with this and did it as a early release without going to PlayStation, just an early release like ARC, and if people want to play early, they play early. They pay like the $40 price or whatever it was to buy the game early. They play it and then just got the features added on like it has been. It wouldn't have been as much drama, but they released it as a $60 full retail game. Said this is end product and did not deliver, and they screwed themselves. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, these are all free updates, but
everybody's forgotten about the game by now.
Yeah, no one wants to pop that in. You probably deleted it off your PlayStation or your computer already.
Yeah,
because you're trying to save space or whatever you're trying to do. So I may give it a try. Let's see what happens because I want to see what's going on. But if players are basically orbs, is that what they are?
Yeah, it looks like you have an orb and you interact with the orb and then you join their game. It looks like that's what their solution is to being able to do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's kind of cool that you can actually look how many little text bubbles there are. I don't know how it works, but it'll be interesting to try.
There's videos going up on YouTube with players actually streaming their first multiplayer experiences. So we'll see how that goes. Next news topic of the week.
I kill with my heart.
Game of Thrones suffers another leak. Why is this keep happening to the show? Last time,
it's because they already stole everything.
Sold, or you mean they
stole?
They stole the whole season. Why they keep saying? Why they keep only? Why don't they release the whole season then?
I don't know.
It's because HBO is different than Netflix. HBO needs people to actually.
No, he's talking about the hackers. Why don't the hackers release?
Oh, why don't they release?
Yeah, why don't the hackers
because
just release everything?
They're being a dicks.
Yeah.
Are they saying why HBO doesn't
making people wait, but
Yeah.
not HBO?
Because they want the clicks and they don't want everyone just to do it one time download and just pass it out. It's easier to do it once.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. But so fans won't lose out by watching it before the air. It doesn't matter, really. I think people watching it off the HBO is not the greatest thing, but it's, my thing about it is if you don't support HBO won't continue making great products like they have been for the last 4 years. But if you're watching it on HBO Go, like Tommy has been, you're actually supporting them and you're getting
I actually
a cheaper
bought
price.
it.
The trial.
Yeah, but they're going to charge you anyway.
I don't care. Whatever you're doing, you're supporting the show. Even if you watch it on the trial, it doesn't matter.
At least you did it. You bought the hook, but will you get reeled in?
But the thing is if you watch it on those things, even if you're not paying the full price, you're supporting good shows like that coming back. Because this is the final season, right?
No, there's another one.
I mean, the next season's the final season. Are you sure there's another one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next season is the final season. And if that's the final season, then what are you going to do after that? People are going to still want those good shows, so let's keep it going. All right.
I kill with my heart.
Main topic of the week this week, we're going to be talking about The Dark Tower, which stars Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. So, lots of parts on this movie. This movie actually had a very long life going into it.
Very, very long.
So, the movie is basically based off of Stephen King's novel series by the same name of The Dark Tower. The film stars Idris Elba, like I said, and as Roland Deschain, or Deschain, or whatever how you say it, a gunslinger on the quest to protect the Dark Tower. Basically, it's a tower in the center of the world, and it has some power. I don't want to break it for everyone that hasn't read it. Matthew McConaughey is his enemy. If you saw the trailers, you'll see that.
Yeah.
And
the Man in Black, as they say.
Walter's his name, which I thought was interesting, or the Man in Black. The movie was intended to launch a film and television franchise. The first installment combines elements of several novels in 8-volume series that takes place in both modern-day New York City and Midworld and Roland's Old West-style parallel universe. The film also serves as a canon chronicle sequel to the novel series, which includes the revelation that Roland's quest is a cyclical time loop, so it continually happens constantly.
That sucks.
The movie basically
that means he constantly has to save everything, right?
Yeah, he's constantly just doing the same thing, like trying to save the Dark Tower, or just like, if you watch House, he's always solving another mystery.
Right.
So it's just another medical mystery.
It's his job anyway.
Yeah, that's his job. The movies basically didn't get a very good critical acclaim from
not at all
from Rotten Tomatoes, or if you watched any other critics, probably gave it not so great reviews. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 17 rotten percent from the critic side. The audience actually gave it a 59%, so it's about a 60%. And that's 155 reviewers on the tomato meter from the critic side, which is less than 200 people, and about 40,000 people gave it 60%. So critics are quite harsh.
Yeah, why are the users actually enjoying it to the point that they give it a 60%? I mean, that's not great, but it's not 15%. Why are the critics so harsh?
The 15% is
makes you like wonder. I don't know.
15% makes it feel like they don't even the movie was like unwatchable. That's when I think about 15%. I would say unwatchable. Like I would get up and leave because I cannot watch this movie.
Yeah, like I mentioned it when what I did this week. Sandy Wexler. If that were a full movie release out in the theaters, I mean, of course, it'd be more harsh because it doesn't have that kind of budget or that kind of writing to be like out in a theater. That's why I went straight to Netflix. It's a different kind of movie. That would be like a 15%.
Yeah, it's. I have more things to say. The efforts to adapt the movie to the screen have been ongoing since 2007, so 10 years in the making. So this has been in the making for 10 years. So it's
crazy.
Pushed back from other companies.
It's Duke Nukem Forever of the movie industry.
Yeah, basically the Duke Nukem Forever of the movie industry. The project was shelved. The rights were transitioned between different production companies, basically starts and stops with various filmmakers and studios at different times, including Universal, Paramount, TriStar, Columbia Entertainment, and Lionsgate Films. It went through 3 major phases of planning, with J.J. Abrams at the helm at the beginning, then Ron Howard jumping in.
This is crazy that Ron Howard was going to be involved with it. Could you imagine how different it would be if he actually directed it?
He actually is a co-producer of this movie.
Oh, still co-produced it.
Yeah, he's still part. He was with it from beginning to end. Well, not beginning, from J.J. Abrams' period to the end.
Oh, okay.
So he tried to stay with it as much because he loved the story, but he couldn't direct it, so he gave it up. But it finally ended up with Sony Pictures Entertainment, our favorite.
Bad choice.
Favorite guys. And the Media Rights Capital Group with Nicolja Arcel directing, the Howard remaining in a producing role. So Ron Howard stayed in a producing role for Nicolja Arcel.
It's just sad because it's 10 years and then critics give it a 17. I mean, I would feel like shit if I was. Well, and if I worked on the movie after 10 years.
It's like anything
that's like, yeah, fuck this.
And usually anything that takes that long ends up disappointing everybody.
Yeah, because
I liked it, so I don't understand it.
So the reason why it happens is it goes through the red tape of hell, kind of mode where people are like, I don't like this idea because it's not gonna make us.
Yeah,
money.
it gets kind of redone so many times, rehashed to the point where they're like, we just got to get this out there.
Yeah.
Do it.
Just cut or whatever that scene was where this kid is like falling. Just make sure it's cheap and get it done.
Yeah.
So it's don't be something expensive. So that's what happens. But J.J. Abrams picked it up in 2007 and said he was going to work on it. Later that year in 2008, he said he really wanted to do it, but they gave it up. In 2010, Ron Howard picked it up. And then in 2015, he dropped it. But in 2010, they had signed Javier Bardem was supposed to be in it, and Viggo Mortensen was supposed to be in it. So Viggo Mortensen was supposed to be Idris Elba's character, and Javier Bardem was supposed to be the Man in Black. Yeah.
What was the Man in Black's name?
Walter.
I'm glad they went with Idris Elba.
Yeah, Idris Elba totally.
Viggo Mortensen.
So cool.
Viggo Mortensen's great. He's been good in movies after Lord of the Rings, but
Who did he play as?
he was a character in 2 movies I remember him being in. He was a Russian gangster, which he was really good in. I thought was really.
Who was
great.
he in Lord of the Rings?
He was the Ranger, Striker. I forgot his name. Jeez.
Aragon?
Aragorn.
Oh, that.
Aragorn.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I haven't seen him forever.
Yeah. If it was
After Hidalgo, he just
is
disappeared.
it later that it happens? But Liam Neeson was supposed to be one.
Yeah, Liam Neeson was as well.
Was
It
supposed
was
to be
rumored.
Oh,
back
it was
when
rumored.
Ron Howard picked it up. That's when Liam Neeson was going to be in it, and Liam Neeson was supposed to be the main good guy. He's supposed to be Idris Elba's character.
I would have liked it for either be Liam Neeson or Idris Elba, but that's just me.
think
And the kid was
Viggo
supposed to
could've done
be
it too.
Aaron Paul.
Maybe if they had
So
Diego
Aaron
Luna.
Paul.
Aaron Paul would have been the kid.
Remind me what Aaron Paul is.
He's the guy from
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, the kid that.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah,
But
he
he's
was
too
supposed-
old.
But now he's too old.
Well, he could have been the kid still. He would have been like a college. They would have just readapted it to say that he was a college kid that was having like.
I like kids
running
better.
around like Shia LaBeouf style.
Yeah,
Oh God!
I'm tired
freaking
of
out.
20-something-year-olds playing teenagers.
yeah, it happens a lot. Then Nicola Arcella picked it up in 2015. All those people that they said they were going to play their characters dropped out. Nobody wanted to be in anymore. So in November 2015, Matthew McConaughey was offered the role of the Man in Black. He took it. And he also was offered that it would be a multi-movie series, so he would be in it for different items. Like
Yeah,
movies
I wonder
and
if that'll
shows.
actually happen now.
I don't know. I hope it. I don't know.
I want them to make a prequel of the war.
And then
That would be cool. as
that
shit.
would be really cool if they had us. Yeah, and then
call like the Gunslingers.
and in 2016, Idris Elba signed on. So
Yeah.
Idris Elba's
So, well, I mean, do you kind of mentioned in the beginning that there is a tower, but you kind of don't want to spoil its purpose, but we know it's like multi-universe, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, you can say that it's like,
Spoil it because it tells you right in the beginning.
yeah.
So it's not really
Dark
a spoiler.
Tower is
And then the
basically
Gunslinger's a protector, and then Matthew McConaughey wants to destroy it, basically. So,
yeah. So the Man in Black wants to destroy the world. Basically, he's like the devil. Idris Elba is kind of like a guardian angel, I would say.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And
He's basically here to keep the devil from taking over the universes. So the bad man.
Well, yes and no. The
Yes.
Dark Tower is supposed to be like a shield.
Dark Tower
It holds like a
basically-
shield up.
Yeah, it's basically like a bubble shield.
And
that
this
keeps
guy, Matthew McConaughey's
all
character,
the bad
is a
guys.
sorcerer, and so he's like, imagine like Saruman. He wants to destroy the tower so like evil things can come into the universe
right.
Yeah. What I meant
because
is
he's
like,
just twisted up.
I-
He's not
what
the
I was-
devil, but
what I was thinking about is like the devil trying to cause hell to come loose. That's what I feel like he's trying to do. I'm the devil. I'm trying to open hell's
he plays
gates.
like the devil.
Yeah. What I'm trying to explain is like he's like letting hell open up. So that's what he's trying to do. But he's more like a sorcerer that has a lot of weird powers that you may have not seen before. I have
Yeah.
never seen a
Yeah.
sorcerer.
Well, this
have.
is a Stephen King, based off a Stephen King book. And what's interesting is that they kind of use the same word for the talent as they do in all his other, well, some of his other films, like The Shining. And they call it The Shine in this. So, and it's basically the same thing, psychic powers. And I've heard talks about how the Gunslinger on all those books can be kind of related to the same universe as The Shining. And
Right.
the other movie you mentioned,
The Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
So that's I think it's really cool and makes you think about this happened in this universe. So The Shining was obviously probably like a while before this.
Yeah. So when you think about what the book may have been, I never read the books.
I never read the book either.
But from what I see in the storyline, I think the books would be really cool.
Yeah, so we went to this fresh. We didn't have
It's
the
definitely
book,
worth a read, I think.
but the
after
books are
seeing it.
really good, and maybe that's why all the critics are being so harsh on
Yeah,
this.
it must be really good.
But yeah, the books are really good. But I mean, the movie didn't deserve such a bad rating, I believe.
The biggest issues. Let's go into what we thought was the most critical. What you could be the most critical, and we'll go into why they probably gave it the worst reviews. I think the critical thing about this movie was poor graphical stuff. Some of the graphics are kind of jokey to me, but they're not that bad. They're kind of like 4 years behind, because like when he reloads his gun in the air, the gun is
silly.
basically like a 3D model that's moving in space, and then you just put it in.
It is kind of silly,
but
it's cool.
And Matthew McConaughey collecting the glass in the trailer like he did. I don't know if you thought it looked stupid to me, but that looked goofy because Matthew McConaughey looked like a child. He was like, yes.
Well, Ellie has an inside opinion on
Oh,
this.
don't put me in. Other than that, like, they keep switching directors and whatnot, that they just didn't follow through with previs.
What's previs? Can you explain what previs is?
It's when before filming, someone, very intelligent people, put together how the composition and the story will go. And then after, having the scenes pretty much laid out and modeled out in a really, really like low res version, then they bring it into filming and be like, yes, this shot works. Yes, this shot works. Yes, let's do CG on this and let's put some explosions there. Instead, they skip all that and they'd be like, let's just film.
Yeah, so basically,
And
when you
cut
do
it.
an animated film, it's kind of like storyboarding, but for movies.
Yeah,
But it's important. It's important in films
it's
too,
to
right?
any film, especially films that use CG.
Right, but they didn't used to use this before, right? It used to be like storyboard, like before CG. It was never around until it was more storyboarding, right?
It's more like, yeah, you're right. It's the same as storyboarding, but just in a more high tech. Like
You could actually see camera angles and go
exactly.
through the shot and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did that actually affect the end product? In your opinion, do you think that there are some scenes that could have really benefited from previs?
I think there could have been.
I think there was at least one or two scenes that I think could have been shot a lot better as far as action. Not that it was terrible, but I think it could have kind of had a much better, like kind of like cool, like more fluid action cut with each, everything that was happening at the time.
Right. And I think there's a lot of that could have benefited from it. I think the acting was okay, and but you're talking about like fluid motion of the scene transitions.
There's two big action sequences, like one right before the end, and then there's one
in the kind of in the middle.
One kind of in the middle. Yeah, you probably thinking the same thing. And I mean, for what's kind of the really cool thing about the film is he'll say he has his little lines that help him concentrate and shut out everything and only focus on hearing his enemy, right? So he can kind of track his enemy. See it in the trailer. He's tracking his enemy. He's saying, I don't shoot with my mind, I shoot with my heart, blah, 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 blah. I don't shoot with my hand, I shoot with my mind. And then once he focuses enough, he's able to shoot it and goes through a close, it goes through a building, and because he's able to focus in on this person, and it hits a person in the head. So for that doesn't take previs at all. So
Yeah, it does.
I mean, you can use it.
I don't think so, because it's just a shot of him thinking.
It's a cheap shot. That's what it is. But if it
That's
had
what I'm saying.
previs, they could have thought of it already, or they were just being cheap overall with.
I think the
movie
ones
and
that
they
really
didn't wanna do
benefit-
any of that.
I would think that the scenes that really benefit from previs are the ones like the big, huge, heavy action sequences.
Yeah. I think the previs could have helped them with some angles in the shots of the action sequences.
Yeah,
Like movement.
There's a
through
lot
the
of rough cuts.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, it could have benefited from it, but they didn't do it. If they cut it out, they cut it out. But I don't think this movie was unwatchable because of
Definitely not unwatchable.
I actually enjoyed a lot of it. I think the lore of this movie is the sad part of this movie is the lore is missing. And
Yeah,
that's the
well,
only thing.
I've heard complaints here. I've heard that it has pacing problems, and it goes two ways. At times, it goes too fast because they're trying to explain too much. and other times it goes too slow. I thought the pacing was okay for me. I didn't ever feel lost.
I didn't either, so I don't know.
But Ellie didn't really like or follow the story very well, right?
No,
So what
I
it was
just like I had no connection to anything that was going on.
You were also drunk.
Like, no, I wasn't.
You're so rude.
Like even in the beginning, like the beginning was like, establishing everything, which I thought was maybe the only interesting part.
Was it too fast paced for you?
No, it was just the whole thing was the same pace. It's like didn't.
I can see where someone gets lost. I see what you're saying though, because you're just like I'm
like,
not
what am I
connecting
saying?
to I'm not
No.
connected to the kid.
No, I'm not connected to the kid.
Yeah.
Not connected to the gunslinger. I'm not connected to the evil people. Nothing. Like
How?
It's just this thing that happens, and then
I understand that feeling too, because I didn't connect
Not
to
even
the
the worlds.
kid that much.
not even the world. Like it didn't even present a world that I would care for. Like the real world to our world, like New York. It's like I don't care about those. I let them all die in the earthquakes. I don't care. Like I didn't feel their fear. I didn't feel nothing. And like
Right.
And then even in this other world where the tower is, I didn't feel like that was well established. It's like I don't care whatever happened to these people. It's like it looks stupid. Whatever. Get over it. Kill yourself. I don't know.
So much hate.
I don't know. I just didn't have anything to. I don't know.
I think the
monsters.
the monsters were kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that's what I'm talking about. Those monsters could have been it could have been cool to have the
I wanted to
monsters
see.
elaborated.
Yeah, I mean it's not.
Like the one that comes out of the freaking red mist of the whatever it was in the
Yeah, those are called the tears, right?
Yeah.
Where like the dimension that the monster is trying to come from when the tower is destroyed. But what I think I enjoyed the most, and you see this in the trailer too, you don't actually see the scenes, but him talking about going to what they call Keystone Earth, and him being a fish out of water on Earth were probably my favorite scenes. But they're very, very short-lived compared to Wonder Woman, which I enjoyed too. Wonder Woman, she was a fish out of water in England, I think it was.
I love
in
all
London.
those fish out of water scenes.
when she was like, "It's a baby." You get similar scenes in this, where
Like
I don't want to spoil it, but it's hilarious. Where you're,
like him drinking. I'll throw one out there. Drinking Coca-Cola.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
product.
like
It wasn't product placement because it's covering the can.
He never says it was Coca-Cola, but he was drinking a can of Coke.
He calls it sugar.
And he said, and the kid's like, "What is it?" He's like, "What is this?" He's like, "It's sugar." And then he's like, "Do you have another can of sugar? Like you have any more sugar?" Because the thing is that somebody that's never drank Coke,
Yeah,
or think about Pepsi or whatever, just throwing out ideas.
that was definitely my favorite part of the movie, and they could have benefited by having more of that. I think like less time in that.
That was
other
your
world.
favorite part of the movie?
As far as
they were enjoyable. Like
as
you
far as
laughed and
comedy,
I
for
laughed.
sure.
No, it was funny, but it wasn't my favorite. My favorite
was your
part,
favorite part?
was the action scene at the end. That was so badass.
Really?
the one that you see in the trailer, where
Yeah.
the final climax with the Man in Black.
No, before that with the guards.
Oh, well, that was
That
the one
was
I
the
thought
best.
really could have benefited with previs. That was one of the two scenes.
I don't know. I liked it because it was just it was quick.
The
It was
action
one dude
scene
just-
reminded me a lot of the Matrix 1, that action scene, because he was him against everybody else, and his movements were kind of like somebody that was tuned in somehow, like getting shots off. And it felt like he was somebody that was in the Matrix, and all these other people were just peons. And then you saw people falling out of the sky and landing. You saw that too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, he's supposed to be. Remember, the hint that like he's a gunslinger. They haven't seen him in centuries.
No, I know.
He's outlived all of them. There's supposed to be some kind of like magical.
No,
entity
I
to them.
understand that, but I meant like, do you think about it that when I was thinking about it, I was thinking about like everyone's just peon, and he just like You saw those people falling from the second floor.
Yeah, I
on the
know.
ground.
Well,
So
Ellie
that's why
mentioned
the Matrix. That's
Ellie
what I
mentioned
call
this too. There's, I think, what called Midworld. I think there's Keystone Earth. and
He's
then
from
there's
Midworld.
Midworld,
Uh-huh.
and then that world is pretty much destroyed. And it's like
Post-apocalyptic.
Trigun, where you have all this technology, but it's kind of like old Western times. But you have all this technology from the time before that, which was pretty much our modern time, or maybe a little bit
Advanced of ours.
more advanced than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have advanced technology meets old Western, because that era of the world died out, and we went back to old, like kind of like old West world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which was a cool thing. I really love that. That's what I like about Trigun, which is the anime. But they could have maybe made this world more established, make you care about the world more, like Ellie said.
I mean, the movie
But
was short.
What
the
and they
movie
kind
was
of
pretty quick.
touched on this really quick is that his guns, and which makes him kind of really powerful, is he's wielding two guns
that are
made from the Excalibur.
Excalibur of that area.
Or maybe it's Excalibur that we have in our
I thought
thing.
they said it was the same steel. That
He says
Excalibur was
exactly. Well, he says as you would know it as Excalibur. So it's like our Excalibur
Arthur's
is
sword.
there. It's the same metal
Or-
as the one in their world.
Well, this is what I took it from, is maybe we don't actually have Arthur in our world because it was in this mid-world Earth or some other...
Could be. I took it as there's multiple King Arthur types, and this is one. But
it could also be that King Arthur was a story that someone told.
From
because remember, there
this
was
universe to the other universe.
Because there's somebody other than the kid who's been there.
I'm just saying because it multi-dimensional, it could have been that metal's on.
But they have a lot of magic in this world, so maybe I don't know.
Yeah, the world does have a lot of magic.
It's open to a lot of interpretation. We didn't read the books, so maybe there's more elaboration on the book.
Yeah, and that's the issue with the movie.
Movie touched on it really quick.
And if
there's not enough elaboration.
If you go into this movie, my thing that I always thought of is if you go to this movie and taking everything like logic, you're gonna come out with a bad experience because when the gunslinger takes his belt and he like wipes his the rotating.
Yeah, I mean,
thing around his belt and it fills up. It's not going to happen
if you're going to lose logic and think about how this mid-Earth or mid-world was to the technology point that they have theme parks.
Yeah,
you would think, okay, why do they have revolver guns? Shouldn't they have a better gun than revolvers that they forged the Excalibur into? I mean, that's one of the things that logic can kind of kill for you.
Yeah, you just go into this as thinking about it. This is basically a fantasy film. Fantasy. It's not sci-fi. It's really fantasy, right?
Yeah, because there's magic involved.
Yeah, magic and fantasy, and you're going into it.
There's sorcerer, there's demons, and all
there's sorcery.
Shit.
There's
we don't even know
telepathy.
we don't even know what the bad guys.
There's basically a knight and a sorcerer. So you're watching a fantasy film. That was what I thought was cheesy.
Yeah,
like him going like he looked like something out of Labyrinth. With
the glass. He's holding the glass.
Lifting things.
Yeah.
Like,
he was doing more like witch stuff than like wizard stuff.
But whatever.
Or sorcerer.
Same old. But the things I want to get. So, excuse me.
How do you think the actors did? Should we touch upon that?
The actors did fine. The issues are there's no lore, there's no backstory really, other than like a few quick seconds. They hint at a really cool war, but we never see it. And
there's also shots of it in the trailer that we
and they don't explain what some of the creatures are. There's some things in there that we don't even know, like the people who worked for the bad guy.
The skin.
We don't know who like what the hell were they?
He calls him Rat Boy.
The two skins.
Yeah, well, what the fuck were they?
Oh,
yeah, we don't know.
And how'd they get the skin? Skin from who?
I know that's something that would have been really cool.
So many
we saw that they
mysteries.
had some sort of a black market they were buying faces from. I saw that.
Yeah, but where were they getting them from?
My thing is, that's cool, true. But one thing I think of is that if they could have went into the lore more, it would have been really cool, right?
Yeah, because all you know is there's not a whole lot like.
But then pacing would have really been a problem in the movie.
Yeah, because then you would have had to add an extra hour in explaining the whole backstory, and it would have taken people were like, "Oh my god, that's so boring." So they try to do the best they could with it. I feel bad for that, but try to do the best.
If it was a TV series, like they mentioned it was going to feed into, I think they would have a lot more time to elaborate on the lore.
It would have made a great Netflix show. I would have watched it.
It would have been an awesome Netflix show.
Yeah. So,
like a series.
Yeah, like a series or an HBO show called The Dark
movie,
Tower.
you only have like so much time.
It reminds me of like Revolution.
All this stuff in there.
You remember Revolution? The show?
No.
It was like post-apocalyptic, and they have like guns and shit.
No,
I've
heard of it. I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
There's only like 2 seasons because
Yeah.
I can't. But it's kind of has that feel to it, where it's like the modern world is like no longer doesn't exist anymore. It's like a old west style, and it's like episodic, so like it really feeds into it. And the main character wears a trench coat like he does, and he's like a badass.
I think what happened with this movie, why it got such bad ratings, is because Westworld's out there, and people are really looking at that as a
I still haven't
positive
watched
force
that yet.
for Western movies and Western sci-fi, Western fantasy, and maybe that caused. I don't know.
But that's a TV show too.
Yeah, it's a TV show, and they had more spacing. But going back to the actors, Idris Elba was great.
Oh, I loved him in it.
I thought he was great.
He was awesome.
He was not.
I knew he was going to be something I enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
I was surprisingly okay with Matthew McConaughey as well.
Yeah, I was okay with him as well.
Matthew McConaughey wasn't bothering me at all. I didn't have any issues with him.
I thought I was gonna be like irritated by him, but I was like, he actually plays it fine.
The kid was okay. He was okay. He wasn't like annoying or anything. He wasn't like Dakota Fanning, and
This is gonna sound bad, but it's not nowhere near as corny. But as soon as Idris Elba went to Keystone Earth, New York, I got vibes from. Do you remember
Shaolin Monk.
No, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with the kid. He's in a movie and he goes to the real world.
Terminator?
Last Action Hero. I got a vibe from Last Action Hero, where Idris Elba is Arnold Schwarzenegger and the kid is the kid. But this actor that played the little boy, he is better than most. I mean, he wasn't great, but he was better than that kid. Did you notice some scenes where he sounded like he was voiceovered?
A little bit. There were some scenes that looked like they were voiceover, because there's like one scene that had one of those, the bad guys, the back of his head, and he said some things like, was it him talking or their character? Because I couldn't tell. I didn't see anything happening.
Yeah,
I know that was voiceovered. There's some scenes that look like they're like heavy voiceover.
There's voiceover where there's like a kid. The kid's voice completely changed. Like he was like deaper. I was like, did he get older?
Yeah, we're not going to reshoot this. We're going to have this part be his voiceover here, so we have a shorter runtime or something like that. I'm sure there was like a lot.
Add that when his head's turn around. Like, okay,
exactly.
Okay. But all the actors in this were surprisingly good. The only people that Ellie, did you like Idris?
Who?
Did you like Idris Elba?
Yeah, he was fine.
How about the kid? Not so much?
No, they were fine. Like, the acting was fine. It's just the character. I didn't care for them.
Just the way it was written.
Yeah.
And there was nobody really that bothered me except for the parents.
Yeah, I was going to say the mom annoyed me.
The mom and the dad. The mom was kind of weak, and the dad was kind of like, her acting seemed like so generic.
Like she just had that face, like, you look like a worried mom. Let's get you.
Yeah, it could have been like, it could have been more connection between the mom and the son, but it doesn't matter.
I've seen her somewhere before, but I can't remember what show.
I don't know either. But if we wanted to go into this and rate this movie,
can I go first?
Ellie, you may go first.
4 out of 10.
4 out of 10 it is from Ellie. So 4 chambers locked and loaded. So
no, 4 2 skins.
4 2 skins.
So that makes 6 skins.
That's 8 skins, isn't it?
Oh yeah. No, that's 6.
Okay.
No, it's 8. It's 8.
So you're giving it a 4?
But 4, yeah.
Yeah, 4.
But there's 8 2 skins total, or 8.
Oh my god, what's
8
happening?
Skins total.
So is it 5 out of 10?
No, 4.
It's 4 out of 10. So Tommy, what do you give it?
I think it's 5.
You said 8.
8. No, 5. 4.
4 out of 8 would be 5 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Moving on.
It puts lotion on the skin.
Or else he'll get the hose.
Again. It does what it's told.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Oh, that's pretty high. Wow.
7 out of 10 what?
7 out of 10 shooting with the mind.
Shooting with the mind? All right, sweet. Will.
6 out of 10 chambers locked and loaded.
Nice. So I'm going to give it a good 6.5 out of 10. So I'm going in the middle of you guys. I was thinking of that since the beginning. The movie's not terrible. I'm going to give it 6 nightmares out of 10.
If you enjoy fantasy movies
6.5
and
nightmares.
You don't care if the movie's not amazing and you go in there with low expectations, go see it. You'll enjoy it.
It's about a 6. So we give it overall a 6. It's 5.9, rounding up.
It's no Baby Driver.
It's no Baby Driver, but
it's not a triple X.
Don't go into it. Our idea is going into this movie. If you like movies such as, I don't know, throwing it out there, any kind of like
Ferngully,
like any Knights of the Round Table type movies, any type of movie that's fantasy, and you're thinking about it. Like, I liked Stranger Things a lot. I felt like this had a Stranger Things kind of vibe to it in some parts.
A little bit.
But go and watch it. Don't let the critics give you the choice. I know you don't have to listen to this either. If you think it's crap, then it's crap to you. But my mind is people at Rotten Tomatoes, that's not fair what you guys gave it. It's not a 17. It's closer to like if I was a really strict critic,
30.
Maybe a 30 or 40. 17 is like in almost the single digits.
It's like that's lower than probably triple X.
Yeah, Triple X was garbage compared to this.
And it probably got like 40 or something.
Yeah, and that's because it's Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
I was
So
gonna
that's
say
ridiculous.
support Sony and go see it if you think, and so we get more gunslinger lore. But at the same time, I was not wanting to say that because I want Sony Pictures to go out of business before they make and destroy the Venom movie that's coming out. Because I want them to die before that happens. Because I don't want them to ruin the Venom movie.
Can I tell you how much that Return of Xander Cage got?
What?
Almost 50%.
From
Return of
the Rotten
Xander
Tomatoes
Cage?
ones?
Yeah.
Which one's that one?
Well, it's almost 45%.
Oh, they thought XXX Return of Xander Cage was better than Gunslinger, than the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
By 3 times.
Let's shoot these critics.
Yeah,
this is
I mean,
terrible.
the critics.
I have a
Well,
feeling
kill them
they
with
just,
our
I
mind,
feel
not
like,
our
like they need to be paid
I
to.
kill with my heart.
They need to be paid to do a good review. Something's like rigged and
I feel like
Hollywood.
I feel like the Hollywood machine is really pushing for a lot of remakes a lot more lately. I know that's rehash, but anything that Vin Diesel touches or The Rock touches seems to become like weird and high, hyped up and all that stuff. And then you go see it like Baywatch.
I like Baywatch.
I know you liked it. What I meant
It wasn't bad.
I'm not saying it wasn't bad. I'm just
I
saying,
like Triple X, the original one, but this one was horrible.
the
second
original
one.
Triple X was good. The second Triple X was, and then Triple X, the third one was okay, and then this one was absolutely.
I think they give him.
horseshit.
I think they give him that support so that people will think that he's still doing well. So that way his other movies don't tank, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Fast and the Furious.
What movie is Vin Diesel doing? What is he in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's Groot.
Oh, he's just a
Oh,
voice.
he's just a voice.
Doesn't matter. People know it.
I don't even.
Doesn't matter.
Honestly, if I never knew that,
What-
it
Did
was-
you,
I
know,
thought-
did you know he gets a whole script?
What I thought he was pretty good in is Riddick.
yeah,
Oh, I love Riddick. Ah, shit. That's such a good series.
He's a good fit for him.
yeah,
but
Riddick was good, but the third
I don't
one
like
was-
Triple X.
Pitch Black.
Moving on.
But ooh, that wasn't me.
Moving
Sound like
on.
I kill with my heart.
So we have our listener confession, and our listener confession is that G3N3 Systems Esports, basically esports.
I know. I think it's G3N3SYS Esports.
esports, basically esports. right now.
Genesis Esports. I think.
Genesis
But
Esports,
it's Genesis with backwards
the
E's,
the
threes.
elite version of Genesis,
The elite version of Genesis.
esports. Basically, it's not his. I don't know how he's doing this out of the basement of his house, but this is in the basement of his house. Your power bill must be very high, my friend.
He's saying at Nerd Confessions, does this building in this basement
Does building.
does building this in my basement? I'm sorry, thank you, Ellie, of my home qualify me as a nerd? 10 full-time
Hell yes.
gaming PCs at your disposal for free. Why is it free?
I don't know, but it looks cool as hell. Send us more pictures of it.
How do we get access to your basement? That's what I want to know.
go.
What
Maybe we'll
are
look it up.
those banners? Those don't. That doesn't look like a normal person's basement.
It looks like that's a crossbeam.
I love the Diablo
that's a crossbeam.
Necromancer banner. Oh my god.
I mean, the banner's probably to keep people from looking at the other side, but that's just what I think.
I also love the black light.
Yeah,
It gives it a whole different like
it's
dope ass
cool.
vibe.
I like those lights too. They're like bottles, but yeah.
Do you have like gaming tournaments down there? Is that
That's
what?
Probably.
I think he does, and he actually said something more. He responded to me one more time. I need to find him.
Why
He
am I
basically
prepared?
said it looks like esports arena. Esports arenas. We have one in Santa Ana right here that my brother actually works at. If you know him, he works at the Santa Ana Esports Arena doing a lot of Wednesday night fights and fighting stuff. Whenever I went there with him, we actually have something when we went there. Basically, they do Street Fighter fights, and it's huge. And Reggie Bush and all kinds of sports athletes come by and try to plug their stuff, and it's really cool.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so he sent us another picture, which basically just has people sitting in the seats, and he says that this
Same
looks a little
shot?
bit better. Yeah, same shot, but with people in the seats,
Lucy?
and it's panned out a little bit more.
So it's like a controlling.
Does he? Maybe we should ask him. Does he have good air conditioning? Number one. Number two.
I bet it would need a lot of air
He's
conditioning
got
on there.
he's got a sword in the corner. He could also be renting it out, kind of like a Howie's
But
Game
it
Shack.
says for free. He said for
Well,
free.
he's telling us for free, but it could be renting.
Are we invited for free?
I hope it's somewhere near California.
What did he say?
We don't have basements in
He
California.
has LAN parties, and he's in Ohio. So
I
that's
knew it.
Yeah, we
I
can
knew
go.
it. They
I was-
always have the best gaming
What
shit
I was
there.
going to say
They
is...
have land and all that.
Okay.
In
We have-
Ohio?
we have land here, too.
No, but there's like really like land is way cheaper there than out here.
oh,
Land is-
Anywhere Midwest and out.
I
past
don't know. Will, am I wrong?
California?
But isn't land free if you have a router,
Yeah,
local
you
router?
don't need
No,
an
not
internet.
that land. I'm talking land. Like, look how big that basement is. That's probably like a small portion of it.
Oh,
The-
land. Like
Oh,
land.
okay.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
I was going to say basements don't exist in
Land.
California.
Yeah, I was like, why is he going off on that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
So
guess-
Genesis Esports, I just liked your Facebook page because I'm looking at it and trying to figure out what's going on with you. But I don't know if
Who
you're
are
in
you?
Ohio, go hit up Genesis Esports. I guess
And
that's
go.
all I gotta say.
And if you want a sticker, send us a contact at Nerd Confessions, and
We
I'm gonna
got
slap it
stickers.
all over your game place.
Yeah, we'll send you some
All right,
stickers.
we'll send you some stickers.
Nerd
Send
Confession
us-
stickers.
Send us an email at
Like
contact at Nerd
that's-
Confessions.
Like this one, they got wet.
Yes, I have one in the back of my phone case, but I threw my phone case.
Hey, Soil. So what do they do if they
Yeah,
want to send?
another
If they want to send us a confession?
So if they want to send us a confession, you can send us your confessions at contact at nerdconfessions.net or send us a tweet at nerdconfessions with zeros replacing the O's.
Woo!
Do it or else
Or else Ellie will come after you.
I will come after you, just like it.
It.
Get away from me.
Wow.
All right. Well, that wraps up this week's confession. Join us next week for more discussions, opinions on things that pique our interest. If you have any confessions you would like to discuss, please feel free to send it our way. As always, we thank you all and all our listeners for following and tuning in and supporting us. Share us, like us, review us, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Whatever you do helps us grow. And don't forget, you can find our previous episodes and bonus content on our website, nerdconfessions.net. And go there because it's awesome.
Go there.
This Nerd Confessions signing off.
Next week, Sonic Mania and Defenders. So we
And
have a
what's
long weekend ahead of us.
Defenders?
And we're going to do an opening unboxing
Defenders,
of this
the
weird
Netflix, the
gun
Marvel
that I
Netflix.
bought.
We're gonna have Iron Fist. We're gonna have
All right. That's
Oh
the-
yeah!
we're gonna have Daredevil. We're gonna have. Why am I not thinking? I want to say Jackie Brown.
Iron
but it's not
Fist.
Jackie Brown.
Who cares?
What's her name?
Iron
Jessica
Fist.
Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Oh, that.
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist and. Fuck, what's the other guy's name?
Luke
Daredevil.
Cage.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. I was going to say
Cage.
Luther Vandross, but that's not
I
his
always
name.
call him Johnny Cage. But anyway, so we're going to watch that over the weekend. We're going to talk about that on Monday night. If you're watching the stream, we're going to have an episode out Tuesday. So be there, watch it. And we'll see you guys then.
Am I taking over?
And we're basically, yeah, and Ellie's going to do it. And then this is going to be opened and unboxed.
See you guys then.
Goodbye.
I hate you all. Wait, what? Ow! Ow! You got so scared like a little puppy.
Because you already shot me in the face, you psycho.
You got scared like a little pussy.